So, Mark Hutter from Colonial Williamsburg, you're the supervisor of the first Oval Office project at Colonial Williamsburg, and it's been your responsibility to pull together and organize the crew that's going to actually be doing the stitching on this replica of General Washington's Revolutionary War marquee. How on earth do you go about finding people with the sort of skills that you would need to do a project like this?
Well, we started home. We have a good circle of friends that have related skills to those that we practice and preserve at Colonial Williamsburg. Historically, we know that the tent was made by tailors, upholsterers, common seamsters, and sailmakers. And so we looked for folks that have related skill. We posted the position and found a number of them.
So how many people will actually be working on the tent then this summer?
7 stitchers have been hired to be the daily crew. They'll be supervised by Neil Hurst, the foreman for the project.
Okay.
And myself and my current apprentice, Michael McCarty, will be there part of the time, but we have to maintain the tailor shop too.
So what kind of people come out of the woodwork when the call comes out to make a replica 18th century Continental Army general's tent?
We were looking for folks that have both technical ability and interpretive ability.
Because this is actually going to take place in front of the public.
Right.
Okay.
So
in costume.
In costume.
Okay.
The staff will both work and talk. We'll keep one interpreter in the foreground so the others can focus on their work.
Okay.
But most of the staff has worked in other museums. Brendan, behind you, worked formerly at Old Fort Niagara in western New York. Tyler, here behind me, worked at Fort Michilimackinac in upper Michigan.
Fabulous. So great mixture of folks, good technical skills. But they've, of course, there wasn't such a thing as a tent maker in the period, right? So
there is, or there was.
Okay.
However, there are very few working in the colonies.
Okay.
As we said, they were made. Most of the tents made here in the colonies for the new American Army were made by individuals that were learning new skills. They were tailors and sailmakers who were adapting their skills to the call, the demand.
And talk a little bit about the materials also. I mean, I know we've looked at some of the specially woven materials. How did they go about in the period procuring all the things they need, all the parts they needed to put together into these tents?
We wish we knew more about that. We know that there was a tremendous difficulty in gathering all of the needed fabrics. Throughout the colonies, there was a lot of rationing occurring. Fabrics that had been here prior to the agreements of non-importation that started before the outbreak of the war were gathered and storehoused for their eventual usage. So we don't know when the fabric for Washington's tent was produced, and we don't know where either. A lot of the fabric being used for tents is from the Baltic area of Russia, but there's German Osnaburgs, and there's country-made or colonial-made linen that's going into the tents also. Today, our fabrics have been gathered from places as diverse. Custom-woven narrow goods, tape or binding that edges the tent and secures certain areas of the tent. From here in Pennsylvania, hand-woven linen from Max Hamrick and his staff at Colonial Williamsburg, and custom-woven linen for the exterior of the tent from a firm in Northern Ireland.
Wow. So like the 18th century, it's a global effort again.
Absolutely.